Hey YouTube, going through my criminally underplayed guitars selection just now. This is a Yamaha sc400, which it should say on the truss rod cover, but this can't be the original truss rod cover. So I bought this a couple of years ago, about 2 weeks after Doctor Who turned up with one, back when I used to watch Doctor Who and Peter Capaldi was the Doctor. It was great, and then it got a bit confusing, I didn't understand it. But it was a bit where he came out in a Roman, it was like set in a Roman gladiator arena type thing, and then out came Doctor Who playing a Yamaha Samurai, not this model but similar sort of shape, on top of a tank, like playing, I can't even remember what it was he was playing, but there you go. So after that I thought, oh, I really need to get one of them. So this is like the ones on those, I think they're called an SGV or something like that, or SV5, something like that. So it's kind of like a bit more like a sort of Stratocaster shape, but it's got this headstock, and it's kind of this sort of backwardsy, sort of stratty sort of shape. And actually I like this one almost nicer than the original ones. So this is I can't remember the serial numbers in Yamahas. You can look them up and it tells you what year and what month they were made, but it gives you the decade, and I think this was 1982 or something like that. It was very round about there, so it was right slap bang in the middle of the where I like to buy my Japanese 80s guitars, sort of early 80s. Japan made the best guitars in the world. You can argue with that if you want, but I mean, they just do. This is set neck. I don't know what kind of wood it is, I can't remember, but there you go. So 3 single coils, 5-way switch, absolutely amazing. But so that this bridge, reading the bump on the bridge when I got it, the idea being, you know how like on a Telecaster you want to put the strings through the body so you get a bigger anchor point, to create resonance. Well, Yamaha reckoned that what you want is a really straight string pull. So this basically, the strings kind of go in here, and they just come up like 5 mil before they go over the saddles, and it's got this big massive bridge. So the idea here was that this is a straight string pull, and it's a straight string pull on the nut as well, which obviously is a good idea. There was 2 guitars in this range which I could find. There was this one, which is the 400, and there's a 600, which is, it might be through neck actually, as opposed to set neck, and it's got like a forearm chamfer. But I didn't really like the forearm chamfer, because I don't know if you've seen it on, sometimes you get when people strip their old Stratocasters and you can see like it's plywood. Well, it's not plywood, but it does have a veneer on the top. So this bit it's a different colour because it goes through to the wood in below, and I just didn't like the look of that. Not that I had the choice. Yeah, and what I did notice about the 600 is the 600 has a coil tap switch, which is a rare thing. The number of guitars that say they've got a coil tap, but what they actually mean is a coil split. So a coil split is like if you've got a humbucker and you cancel out one of the coils, so you've got like a single coil. A coil tap is where you've got your pickup, you wrap your wire around it 5,000 times or whatever it is, you stop, you take a wee tab off it, and then you wrap it around the rest. So you end up with, if you take the end of it, you get like a high powered pickup, and if you tap into the other terminal, you get like 3/4 of the pickup. So it's tapped, so you get like a vintage output pickup. So what I did was I took these pickups out, had a look at them, and they do have the 3rd terminal. So I was like, oh, it's getting coil tap split. I had to buy a special switch, like a 9-pole switch, so that I could tap all 3. And I was actually talking to someone a couple of weeks ago about this, and apparently the original ones, you didn't used to get 9-pole switches in 1982, so it only taps 2 of the pickups, whereas mine taps all 3. So that's pretty cool. So that would be a worthy upgrade if you had the SC600, I reckon. That would give you all 3 tapped. Yeah, these pickups are mad. They're like they're more Telecaster pickup, bridge pickup sized. They're much bigger than normal pickups and say Yamaha on them. I'm never that sure, but it always looks funny when I don't know how you deal with, see when you've got like a single coils that go into a guitar that doesn't have a scratch plate, you need to put some sort of surround around it, and they always look, I don't know, somehow always looks a bit clumsy to me. There's a lot of Ibanez Roadsters have got this sort of thing, where you've got like a the pickup, and it just makes the pickups look a bit, you know, sort of 60s or something like that. I don't know any way around it though, and I don't like it when you've got like a hole. You see it quite a lot on quite high end guitars, you know, when they've got the humbucker routed into the body, but they don't put a surround on it, so you get like kind of the hole around the outside, and it's kind of where the legs are. Oh, shit. Yeah, enough talking about that crap. So that sounds. Playing from a wee Laney VC. I've got far less pedals involved now, but none of them are on. So that'd be full power. They're almost P90. When you tap them, it's an absolutely gorgeous, ringing like a bell, vintage pickup thing going on. That's something I need to work out. That's it's a bastardization of Killer Giants from the Ozzy Osbourne album that doesn't exist if you look at the box set. The one that Jakey Lee would have got money for, so Sharon Osbourne just ditched the album from existence. Yeah, so the SC, I've seen people advertise it as Super Combinator, which sounds pretty cool, but actually I think it means single coil. Boring. But I do quite fancy getting one of the original. They originally made the SG. It's not quite exactly this shape. This is a sort of halfway between a sort of Strat and the original Samurai. Let's just get this shaped headstock guitar. But they made them in the 60s and they look awesome. They really do. I think it's like one of those things that in the 60s there weren't really that many or any good guitars coming out of Japan apart from Yamaha. They were like the first because they didn't work with anyone else. You get the impression that every part on this is totally bespoke to Yamaha only. I don't know if it's still like that, but in that bridge you don't get that in any other guitars. The pickups are strange, the knobs are odd, the tuners are a different shape. You know, everything's just a Yamaha make it. Apparently that's because they're in their plant where they're making all this sort of stuff. They're making, you know, like carburetors for motorbikes and stuff like that at the same time, and on the same production line. Michelangelo Battio pedal. The strings on this haven't been. I did put elixirs on it, but covered in mankiness. It's been sitting upstairs and not in a case for a couple of years. So if you don't ever use this stuff, it's dead. It's dead good. It just makes your strings all sloppy. Makes it sound. It just makes it feel better. That's me using the reverb on the amp now. Trying to get into using reverb. Sometimes feel it's a wee bit dry, but I never use it because I don't like it. Well, I'm kind of trying to learn how to use it. I normally use the rat pedal. Turn the reverb off, it just makes it that little bit tighter. If I had to have a choice between the tapped and the not tapped, I would choose the tapped, the vintage mode. There's your vintage. There's your high power. It's not been played for a while, so I don't think it's holding tune particularly well. G going. There we go. Yeah, so in band circles, I joined a new band. It's like After Forever, being a Black Sabbath tribute band. They're pretty fucking good. Well, they are now that I'm in it. But, so we're playing stereo on the Saturday the 17th of August this year. I managed to get a poster off the promoter saying that I would have it on the wall, so it would be like advertising. It would be almost just having it on the wall of a pub somewhere. So hopefully someone will come and see that. There's another couple of gigs in the pipeline as well. But I've also joined another band. Yeah, so I've not been in a band for apart from the Project Ray thing, for 15 years or something like that. But it was just it was with my pals, so it didn't really count. Yeah, so I've joined a pub rock band, sort of classic rock thing, playing guitar. So not only am I going to get to play some of my vintage basses, I was playing that. I turned out the Black Sabbath for that the other night. It was quite funny, or yesterday. And it's like I was hoping for a bit of overaction, as in you can't play that, and they didn't say that. So I might use it again. I don't know. I'm just now I'm trying to cycle through as many basses as I can. So I think it's 4 times I've been in rehearsing. So I'm trying to turn up with a different bass every week. So it's a bit. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep that up. Another few weeks anyway, I think. But now I've joined a band playing guitar, so I'll be able to cycle through all my guitars, taking a different one in every week, and that's going to last me like a whole year. That'll be fun. So I'll actually be able to start using some of these things. They're called Voodoo Next, something like that. That's a bit. Don't really know. I just had one rehearsal. But they're nice guys. What happened was that Craig, the guitarist from the Black Sabbath band, was in that band as well, just kind of for another night during the week, and then he's joined another band, so he had to ditch one of them, so he ditched the band, and then I went in on last Tuesday because the bass player couldn't turn up, so I turned up to play bass with the bass, and then he announced that he was leaving that band and that possibly I would be able to replace him, so we swapped over halfway through, so I managed to wing it through a couple of songs, just playing his rig, which is nothing like what it's funny when, even though I've got hundreds of guitars, when you're playing somebody else, it's like wearing somebody else's shoes, it's just don't fit. Once it's your own, it's fine, so I'm really looking forward to getting back in and trying it out. Trying to get the soft tech back in action again as well, which will be nice. See what it's like playing at volume and actually get a chance to use properly some of these guitars. But this guitar really suffered from just never getting used by me. I don't know if maybe I got another guitar or something else just immediately after it or immediately before it. So this one kind of always took the back, sat in the back of the closet sort of thing. I've always had to sort of force myself to play it. But I mean, it's absolutely delightful, and it is a lovely shape. It balances pretty good as well. It's not. It's good. But I mean, I've never really come across a Yamaha that isn't good. The only problem with Yamahas is, especially with the Pacifica, is it's not particularly pretty or interesting looking. But then again, if you're going to if you made the Pacifica look like this, people wouldn't buy it because it looks odd. So, you know, they're treading a thin line of making it. Obviously, the Yamaha always make good stuff, but it's like whether they can, it's the styling of it, whether it looks a bit bland, which I feel Pacificas do. They're kind of not really anything. They're sort of Strat, sort of Super Strat. They don't really have any identity, whereas this does have a character, and I love the headstock. I think people don't like the headstock, but I think it's fantastic. Yeah, so as soon as I've got a lightweight single coil up, sound good with the first pedal, I'm sure. Sorry, this guitar's just getting better the more I play it. Like the strings are starting to bend in a bit from their long slumber. What I'm going to do is I'm going to polish the frets. I've recently started, I never really knew about this before, but I've recently started doing it using a bit of wire wool and these things which you can get off eBay for like about £1 for two. It's like a wee, so you set that over the fret and you polish them up and it just makes the guitar nicer. You do have to take the strings off, which is pretty annoying, but I'm very aware looking at this, the frets are very matte looking, so if they were a bit shinier I think it would play just a little bit smoother. Yeah, so this one turned out not to be a short video again. I think longer videos are bad for my channel, but I don't care. It's like I'm not after you. You can kind of tell if you've found your way here, then that's fine. I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm not really going for massive hits. I think if I just put out 4-minute videos of guitars that people have, then I would get an awful lot more hits. And I think how often I pop up in searches depends on how popular my previous video was, which I've recently found out. So I mean, I sawed it, not worth it. So hopefully. Yeah, no, this is a fantastic guitar. I really like it. I've actually got a Yamaha bass upstairs that I got it with. I bought an Aria bass and it came with it because it was in bits. It had been dropped and it sort of split. So I think I might make one like this. I might make the body and use the neck and the parts from that bass to make one of these. Because it is. No, I'm not just saying just because it's a cool shape. I mean, if this was a Strat, it would be an amazing Strat. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that it's not a Strat, it just looks that little bit cooler. But I think I will be using this in the band. I bet you if I turned up with this at a gig, you know, playing in a pub, everyone's going to be like, what kind of guitar is that? It's a pure haha. Made it for a couple of years, you know what I mean? It's the sort of thing that I'm not even sure that this came out in America or anywhere else in the world. I think it might have been a Europe only thing, and it was, you know, for 2 years, so they probably only made one batch of them, of this one and the more expensive 600. I would consider, well, would I consider buying the 600 if it was cheap enough? I'd buy it. Let's be honest. If you're talking about paying the sort of going rate for them, I don't think I would buy the 600 just because being neck through would be nice. But I mean, it's a really substantial neck join and it's totally fine. Playing up there, it's quite smooth. So the neck through isn't going to really make that much difference to the tone. In fact, you could maybe even argue that the tone would be better because there's more weight here. The neck on it is kind of like a Gibson SG. I would have said actually if I was gonna. It's not an extreme shape, but it's a nice comfortable C. Not fat, not thin, just perfect. But a bit more character than modern guitars. And if you buy a Sonic guitar these days, when it's like every guitar's got exactly the same neck profile, this is a little bit different. It seems to have a little bit of character on its own. Smashing guitar, 26-minute video. Rock and roll!